what makes them
I like Valor.
Valor? Yes. Oh,
Yeah, it just has a nice clean smell when I diffuse it, and everything just feels clean.
nice.
Yeah,
Yes.
I like that one.
It makes you feel. Well, what about you, Ruth?
Well, one of my favorite oils is probably Joy.
Mhm.
Yeah. I have a few, I do have a couple that I really like, but I do like that a lot.
And what's the feeling? Is it joy or is it something else that when you use it?
I really don't know. I just know when I put it on, I usually do it at work though. And I don't even know if it's maybe the smell that brings joy. I'm not sure. But I know my boss actually wanted to know what that smell was. She just said, "What is that?" And I actually gave her some from the bottle, and she just really liked it. And my bottle's very low now from her. So
She needs to get her own joy.
she said she'd like to get some. So
Excellent. Wonderful. And now you can just, get just joy if you want to get joy. You don't have to, that she just wants that, she can get that. That's
Yep.
great. So Andrea said RC, it makes her feel, say it again, Andrea. So you're
I don't know. I guess it does make me feel energetic, but I noticed when I put it in the vent on the minibus, 3 of the boys liked it. They said, "Oh, that smells so good." The one said it smelled like honey.
Oh, that's so cute. That's so cute. So what about you, Danielle? What oils are you using right now that you like?
Well, I diffuse every night, chamomile, lavender, and well, definitely chamomile and lavender. I can't tell you what else is back there. Anything that causes relaxation is my go-to because I need to have help sleeping. I can get to sleep, but I don't usually sleep through the night, but I have been sleeping much better since I'm diffusing. And as far as application of oils in general, I don't know that I per se use any particular on my skin. I guess mostly because sometimes I was having problems with irritation and maybe it was just too strong because I wasn't using a carrier oil.
Right. Yes, definitely. Some of the oils especially, it's best to use a carrier oil. How about you, Caitlin? Did you want to say what you are enjoying? Oh, she's not there. Okay.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Go ahead.
Okay, great. My favorite oil to apply is definitely frankincense. It makes me feel relaxed and grounded. And one of my favorites to diffuse now is Luscious Lemon. I've been really loving that. I actually made a roller bottle out of it too. And then after my workouts, I love the lemongrass. I made a roller out of that. It's just it energizes me.
Yes, lemongrass. Yeah, definitely energizing.
Sorry, I had a few of them.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. So I've been using a lot of pine lately. Pine has a very high frequency. There's the winter nights, there's pine, there's Idaho blue spruce, there's northern light black spruce. There's so many different pines. And I just love the smell of being in the woods and smelling that pine smell. So that with orange is really nice. So yeah, I've been using a lot of pine. That's usually what I have on around my neck that I'm rolling on all day long because it really helps with all the stuff that's going on today. It just, pine is a good one to be using, diffusing, and so, and the pine is very, like just regular pine is just really, really nice. So we're going to talk about frequency. This might be something that many people might not know about. Other people might know about hearing about frequency. So I always like to start with the fact that, we appreciate the sun and the light and the energy that we really are blessed with every day. And, we always, as spiritual people, we think where that comes from, that energy and that light. And it makes me think of Psalm 36:9, where it says, with you or with God is the source of life. By your light, we can see light. And Andy always says this one thing, that if God could disappear, we would be immediately lights out. Everything would cease to exist because he is the source of the energy of it all. So I just always, I liked when he said that, and it kind of like always stuck with me. So every living thing has energy or a frequency. Our bodies, the food we eat, and essential oils, which we'll learn more about. But unfortunately, science and our own human tendency is to rely more on what we see and touch. And we don't really think as much about our thoughts, our emotions, and about the energy that our bodies are made of and what that energy is doing, especially like in regard to our overall well-being. So this book that I haven't read, but I really like this quote. It's called Frequency, the Power of Personal Vibration by Penny Pierce. She wrote there, we all have a personal vibration that communicates to the world and shapes our reality. This made me think about like when you meet someone or you're around someone and you say, wow, I really get a good vibe from that person. Or you meet someone and you say, oh, wow, bad vibes there. It's like yeah, I don't want to be around that, bad vibes. So it's really basically our body vibrating energetically at a particular frequency. So we all have our own personal frequency. So that's a kind of a fancy way of describing our overall state of being. And there's just so much about this to learn. Like you could get into the really nitty gritty and science about it. And I love that kind of stuff. But this German biophysicist, Fritz Albert Kopp, he authored 150 scientific study notes, and they that all living things, including humans, emit this light energy. And he comments in terms of our healing and the implications of our energy that it's immense, and that our entire metabolism is dependent on that light and energy. So we know that. We know the source is from Jehovah, so that makes sense. So let's talk about the frequency then in our body. From a scientific and metaphysical perspective, we're beings that are made up of different energy levels. So we have physical, emotional, spiritual, and we all have our own individual or frequency. So this is based on things that are like always changing, right? So we can ask ourselves this rhetorical question. What do you think your body's frequency is telling you and others about you? So is like our day-to-day life, do your problems seem heavy? Do you experience pain and discomfort in your physical body and experience heavy emotions and mental confusion? This indicates that you have a lower frequency. So your energy is darker. Maybe your day-to-day life, you need to really exert a great deal of energy to accomplish things. So your overall life, it tends to be more negative. But the higher your frequency, the lighter you feel. So your physical, emotional, mental well-being is lighter. You experience greater clarity. You feel more empowered. You have peace, love, and joy. And that made me think of Galatians 5:22, right? Part of the fruitages of the Spirit. So when we carry these qualities within us, we gain more of an overall health, mentally, physically. And we're going to discuss more about that. And you will probably, if your frequency is higher, you're going to have less pain and discomfort in your body. Your emotions are going to be within a healthy range, right? You're not going to have those extreme highs and extreme lows. And your life will reflect this. You're going to live a life more with ease. And so you will like emit kind of a positive light, so to speak. So how does this affect our health or contribute to dis-ease, right? This isn't commonly known or talked about often, but science, there's agreement with science, medicine, and metaphysics, sorry, that certain frequencies can actually repel disease, and certain frequencies can even destroy disease, which to me is amazing. So Lori has a picture. She's going to share her screen with us, showing that even within our body, each organ has different frequencies. And, you know, I don't know all the science. I don't understand all the science about this, but if you look, I don't know if she can make it bigger, but the average body organ frequencies. So you can see the thyroid, the lungs, the liver, the colon, the thymus. It's just showing you, that's okay, Lori, that they each have their own frequency. So we're one body, but even our organs have their own frequency. So when parts of our body become distressed or stressed out or diseased, then we're not producing or vibrating at our optimal frequency. And that's when we can start, you know, feeling not well or having different issues. So, okay, Lori, that's good. But I just wanted you to kind of see that, you know, that it's really interesting to me that our lungs are different than our heart, the frequency within our body. So our body is basically like a symphony of harmonic notes playing together. And when one gets out of tune, it impacts the whole body. And then we become vulnerable to disease. So while we're elegantly made, and we learn, that's why I like to learn about this, because the more we really appreciate the actual design of our body and how we were created, the more we want to care for it, because it's just so elegant and intrinsic, and it's just so beautiful. So it's important to learn these things so we can just be more conscious of caring for our bodies, is what my feeling is. So one fun fact, well, a couple of fun facts that I thought was interesting is that our gut cells are replaced every 2 or 3 weeks, our skin about every 6 weeks, and our liver about every 8 weeks. So we can see that our bodies, our cells are constantly replenishing, and so we can contribute to our body by taking care of it. So to increase our frequency, we need to understand how lower and higher vibrations affect our energy and our health. So this man, Bruce Taino, he developed this equipment to measure the biofrequency of humans and food. And he found that the healthy body range is between 62 and 70 megahertz. And when our body frequency drops below 58 or lower, that's when disease can settle in and we can become vulnerable because our immune system is compromised. So different things like viruses, bacteria, of course, we know that can lower our frequency and we can become sick, but also our emotions like anger, stress, grief, can store actually in our organs, our muscles, and our tissues, and cause negative energy, which will affect those frequencies that are in those organs. And everybody's going to be different where it's going to settle, but we know that the liver And the kidneys are like places where anger and stress and grief, that type of thing, can really settle in. And so this disharmony and imbalance in our body's energy then can cause us physical problems. It can show up in emotions, but it can also show up physically because it'll affect our physical being because of that energy. Now, age is also a factor, unfortunately. We can about 0 to 2% per year, our human vibration frequency declines until old age. And we know that, death is, there's no frequency. So I don't want to talk so much about the negative, but we could think how we can up our frequency. So the way we think about that is all the things we come in contact with every day, we can be more conscious of that. What we ingest, what we listen to, our thoughts. So what's interesting is when we become more aware of our thoughts and we think about it, and this is something I've worked on for years and years, and I still work on it, is that negative expressions or negative self-talk, it's not good for us. It brings our mental state down, our vibration down. But sometimes if we are aware of negative self-talk, it can be good, because if we recognize it, then we can find ways to change that negative self-talk. And so we want to be thankful sometimes for that, but we still have to be conscious and we have to be aware. So Lori has a pic about that shows the different emotions. Now, what's interesting is that when you see this, we're not going to be able to go from like a really low state of depression to a euphoric state. I mean, that's not usually, possible, but we can do incrementally. So say okay, so say you're feeling, angry, and that's like 150 on the vibrational scale. So even if you just come up and you go up to courage, that will increase your vibration. So that's better. Courage is better than anger. And then you might be able to increase your emotional vibration from courage to willingness. And now when you increase that, so you're not going to go from shame at 20 to joy at 540. You want to look at it as, how can I just get better? How can I just better myself? And eventually, when you do this, you can help yourself to keep yourself at a more level or more a higher vibration with your emotions. And it's if anybody wants to take a picture of that too, that's fine. So I know this is easier said than done, but studies have shown that negative thoughts actually can lower our frequency by 12, and positive thoughts can raise it by 10. So isn't that interesting? Negative thoughts actually, bring it down worse than positive thoughts bringing it up. So doesn't that just figure? So then we're going to talk about other things we can do. So thanks, Lori, for showing that. So other things we can do is we can really think and appreciate our surroundings and be grateful. That's one thing that journaling can help with. It's a wonderful tool. If you, spend some time every morning really thinking about, like, I do my Bible reading and my prayer. Like, actually, before my feet hit the floor, I try to think of 5 things I'm grateful for before I even get up. And then I try to journal. Sometimes I just get so busy doing things I forget, but I try to do that, just write a little bit every day. And even if it's something that you're feeling bad, that's okay. You can write that down. You're expressing that, so that can be helpful. And we're going to learn some things that Lori and I both do also with oils at the end that will help us too every day. So prayer and meditating on deeply thinking about spiritual things is actually can increase your level of frequency by 15 megahertzes. So it definitely shows how it causes a a higher vibration by doing those things. And so another thing we can do, and this is something I think, there was a day when everybody went outside barefooted, right? My mom was a barefoot girl. We were raised going out barefooted. So Lori has this really cool, and we have this cool little graphic that I just got to see recently, and I thought it was really cool. But if we just go barefoot on the earth, for a couple minutes a day, we can release actually negative energy. If we do it 10 to 30 minutes each day, it can actually have a profound effect on our health. So I like this here. This is what a blade of grass looks like under a microscope. Next time you take a walk outside, know that the grass is happy to see you. So look at that. You see these little smiley faces? I just think that's so awesome. And isn't it true when you go out and run around the grass, kids go out, they're laughing, they're happy, they're rolling around. But get this, if you have an animal and they go outside in the grass like a dog, they don't wear shoes, so they're out in the grass, they're getting that energy. And when they come in and they jump on you, don't you feel that joy? So they're actually sharing that energy that they receive from the earth that when they're out. So I just thought that was really, really a cool, fun fact, Another thing is movement. Every day we need is not talking about going to the gym and exercising, which that's fine if you want to do that, and that's good, but just getting your body to move. And the more vibration that your body, whatever you're doing, the more you vibrate your body, the more it increases your frequency and it makes you happier. And that's just like I just learned that recently, that there's some people that just will do this. They'll put music on and they'll just like do these crazy like jumping and just to get your body to vibrate. And it really increases your joy and your happiness. So it ups your vibration. Your attitude, of course, is huge, and giving from the heart too. So abundance has a very high vibration. Like when we looked at that picture of that body, abundance was very high up there. Kindness vibrates you higher, and being mean and gossiping definitely brings your vibrations down. So how about technology? Technology actually does bring our vibrations down. So it's good if we can detox from that, especially before we go to bed at night. Try to have that time where we're not connected to, I know it's hard because we do so much with our phones, even like reading our Bible and everything. But it really is good if we can spend some time away from technology every day. Drinking lots of good water, helping to remove toxins from our body. So make sure your water is good and very filtered, and it's a good water. And avoiding toxins. Of course, when we're out in the world, we can't avoid what's out there. About in our homes, we can avoid as much toxins like fragrance. It's known that our inside air is dirtier, 4 to 7 times worse than the outside air. So whatever we can do, like ditching out the different toxins, fragrance, cleaners, that type of thing, to something that's really natural and good. And also we want to avoid toxic people, right? Because that's that's not gonna help us if we're around toxic people. So then we have to think about what we eat. So we have another pick here to be more conscious of what we eat. So I think this really fascinates me. I guess I'm easily fascinated, but if you look at the bottom, we got hot dogs, burgers, pizza, meat burritos. That's very, very low frequency, like, pretty close to nothing. And actually, processed food has 0 megahertzes. So the more processed food we eat, we're not helping our body, frequency. And then look how the superfoods, the fruits and vegetables and nuts, and then up at the top, the wheatgrass, the spirulina, all these things, they have the highest frequency. And I think it's interesting, when we were created to live in a Garden of Eden, we were going to eat like from the trees and from the earth. So that's what our body was created to benefit most from. And look at the megahertzes, like 83 to 320 megahertzes when we're eating those superfoods. And I know Lori will agree with me, one of our favorite superfoods is Ningxia Red. So drinking 2 ounces of that or more a day is a great source of giving yourself those high megahertzes. And, we definitely are what we eat. There's no 2 ways about it. So I want to share with you this study, thanks, Lori, that's fascinating about coffee. Okay, and I'm not saying you shouldn't drink coffee. I mean, I drink it once in a great while, but there was a study done with 2 males. They were about the same age, and they both registered their body frequency at 66 megahertzes. The first man just held a coffee and he didn't drink it. And in 3 seconds, his frequency dropped to 58 megahertzes. So he put the coffee down, he inhaled an essential oil, and within 21 seconds, it jumped back to 66. The second person took a sip of the coffee, and his frequency dropped to 52 in 3 seconds, and he didn't use any essential oils. So it took 3 days for his frequency to go back to normal, to 66, from 1 sip of coffee. So the lesson is, if you drink coffee, just make sure your oils are with you. Just, drink your coffee and put on those oils. That's all I can say. I just thought that was really interesting. So of course we know, like, the cleaner food we eat, the more organic, but whole food is what we want to try to eat more of than anything else, is whole food. So whole food is what our body recognizes, and then we gain the macro and micronutrients from it. And that's what really nourishes us and keeps our frequency up high. So now let's get to my best part for me, essential oils. Okay. So clinical research has shown that they are the highest frequency of any natural substance known to man. And they actually, create environment within your body that makes it unsuitable for, bad microbes to live in. So, I mean, that just blows my mind, right? So while we eat good foods, we can use herbs, all those things, that's great, and we should do that. These bottles of oil, let me tell you, are gold. They are, they're just amazing. And so it's not about just having your house smell great. It's not about fragrance. It's about that when we, the chemistry and the frequency of these essential oils help our body to maintain a better health mentally, physically, emotionally. And they have to be pure oils. That's the key. They have to be therapeutic. Oh, and by the way, we have them. We have the best oils on the planet. So yes, you want to make sure you're not getting them at Target or Bed Bath and Beyond or any of those places, gas stations or wherever. Make sure that you know where your oils are coming from. And we know with Young Living, we have that Seed to Seal promise. So we have great oils. So I've learned more about essential oils, just a little bit more scientific things about it, that they're plants, right? They're living, they have energy. They're a symphony of molecules, and careful distillation of these, the plants, the trees that they come from, what it happens with this distillation is the water is removed, and then there's the vapor, which is collected, which is the oil. And so it's the life force of the plant, and it's a collection of molecules all resonating at their all individual frequency. So when we share, now we can share they can share that frequency now when they go in share that energy with a conductor. So we are the perfect conductor. So we're going to look at this chart then. We're going to go back to that chart, the one that showed the different megahertzes in our body. But on the right hand side, there's a frequency of these Young Living essential oils. So Gentle Baby is one I have here. I'm diffusing that. And that has 152 megahertzes. Look at Idaho Blue Spruce, like I was saying about the pines and the spruces, that has 425 megahertzes. And Rose, Rose is on there. It has 320. So all of these oils also have their own frequency. And, that's why I really like using the pine oils, and we think about the trees. And so thanks, Lori. And if anybody has any questions at the end too, just write them down or whatever. We're gonna have a little, sharing time. There is so much science about this, it just can blow your mind. But I was listening to something, and Gary Young was speaking, the founder of Young Living. He was the master of distillation practices. And I loved what he said. He said that the essential oils are the essence of God. He said that God himself is the only thing that has more frequency, which we would know that, of course, but he created them. He gave them the energy. But it really makes sense, right? That these plants are here as a gift for us to use. And if we still be perfect, we would have, be able to use all these different oils and plants and things. So I just think that's really, really cool. So, so then these oils when we use these oils in the different various ways, which we'll talk about how we can use them, they go into our body, they go into our cells, and we have these receptor sites in our body. So these oily molecules, with their frequency, they have this vibration or frequency. And when it's compatible with the frequency in our body, it's like looking for that. So sometimes certain oils will give someone like the wow factor. Like someone will use an oil and it'll be like, I can't believe this. It like stopped me in my tracks. Like I was having a panic attack and now I don't have one. Like it can be that wow, wow factor, but it's not always that way. Sometimes we don't notice a big difference, but it doesn't mean that our body isn't benefiting from it. So we might have some experiences tonight. I mean, even like what Andrea said in the beginning, how those kids, like they're kids. Why would they notice a smell? You know what I mean? Like they noticed it and they liked it, and she could feel the difference. in their energy. So it's just really, really cool. So sometimes we might too like reach for an oil, like we'll grab an oil and we don't know why we reached for it. Like these oils have frequency, like you can smell them. Like when you get your box, your monthly box, like like, oh wow, there's what oils are in there. I mean, you could smell them. I've had people like, I keep my oils in my purse. I've gone to the bank already and I handed them money to deposit, and they're like, what? Your money smells amazing. I'm like, oh, it's just the oil, So it's just, they're just so potent and just so great. So we don't want to always overthink like, oh, I need an oil. I need this oil for this. I need this oil for that. No, just use your oils, like I said, every day for everything. That's my motto. And you will benefit from them. You will see the benefits. So we use the oils, like I said, we were going to talk about, we use them aromatically, topically, and we can ingest them. So as far as ingesting, we need to make sure that they're pure oils, because like with Young Living, they have the Vitality line. They're the only company that has them marked for consumption. They have these white labels. That means there's 47 of them. That means these oils can be ingested. So that's amazing. So I just want to, and we can put them like on our bodies, different places, on our feet, the VitaFlex points. We can put them behind our ears, around our neck, on our jewelry. We can, wear these lava beads or put them on our wrist at our pulse point. We can do the aromatic breath, which is one of a great way to get it quickly into your body. Just put a drop in the palm of your hand, and then rub it, get those molecules going, and then take those 3 aromatic breaths, covering your nose and mouth. So that's a great way, and diffusing. Like diffusing is just awesome. So I want to tell you a little frequency experience with my husband, who 2 years ago had he had surgery. He had weight loss surgery, and he came home and everything seemed to be fine. And 2 days later, he felt like his stomach was going to explode, and so we had to have surgery again. And it caused some spillage. The doctor came out and told me, and I'm like, well, that makes me think of sewage, so that's not good. And he ended up with abscesses, had to have drains put in, and he ended up being in the hospital for 30 days. So knowing me, the crazy oil lady, I'm like taking all the oils in. I'm anointing him with oils day and night. Before I went to work and after I went to work, I took the diffuser, and people were like, you took your diffuser in the hospital? I'm like, yeah, well, I didn't ask them. I just did it. And everybody loved it. There was only one male nurse that came in, and he's like, my husband's laying in bed, Andy's laying in bed, and he's like, are you okay with this smell? And he's like, yeah, we use it all the time. And he's like, oh, okay. But everyone else, like nurses were coming from different floors just to be in Andy's room. Like that's how crazy it was. Because you could go out in the hall and it permeated everywhere. But he ended up with MRSA, which that's a whole nother story. So I just really brought out the big guns then, like oregano, and I was just really and he ended up going to the hospital 3 days after. And my friend, who's a nurse, said, you're usually with MRSA, you're in like 7 to 10 more days because it's highly contagious. But he got cleared and he could go home. So I'm telling you, the frequency was so obvious by the nurses, by just the whole atmosphere. It was just amazing experience. I mean, nobody wants to spend 30 days in the hospital with a total drag, but it was a really cool experience. So that's my experience. So again, like I said, use your oils every day for everything, because remember, they only stay in your body for 4 to 6 hours. They don't accumulate in your body. They're a plant, they go in, they do what they're supposed to do, and then they're gone. So we have to keep using them all the time to get that benefit. And there is really no better way to vibe up, to keep our vibrations high, to keep our frequency high, which will keep us overall our wellness, our emotional, our physical. There is just no better way. But of course, we want to do all those other things too, because the more we can do, the better quality of life we're going to have, and the more we're going to be able to do the things we want to do that bring us joy. So there's 2 protocols that Lori's going to talk about Great Day. I'm going to talk about the Feelings Kit. So this is a kit that you get. I got it with my loyalty reward points, and she's going to put the picture up. These are oils that we use along with affirmations. The Great Day protocol, I have my scriptures written out, so I say those scriptures every day. But this one, I never got any scriptures with this one. So if you want to take a picture of this, that's fine. But these are 6 oils. We use Valor twice. So it looks like it's 7 oils, but it's actually 6 oils that we use. We start with Valor, apply to the bottom of your feet. And then you say, I am courageous and grounded to everything I do. I am ready to transform my life. And so you do that. And then the next one is Harmony. So Harmony is where you say, I am in harmony with myself and those around me. And you apply it to each of your energy centers. And I usually just put it on my forehead is the main place where I put it. I put it in around above my belly button. I put it there. Then there's Forgiveness is the next one. And these are really all high on the frequency. So forgiveness, you say, I forgive myself and those who have hurt me. I am at peace. Release, you put that, okay, yeah, that was one you put around your navel, right? And then release, you do it over your liver. Like I said, remember, anger and those kind of things are stored in your liver. So you apply release to your liver in a circular motion, and you say, I let go of emotions that no longer serve my higher good. So it just helps you to release some of those anger and issues that you might have, or just annoyance or things like that. And then we have Present Time. This is just such a lovely florally, I love Present Time smell. You apply it to your inner wrists and rub together, and then behind your ears. And you say, I am here grounded at the present time. Many times we're not present, right? We're thinking about what we have to do next, especially women, what do we have to do tomorrow, So it helps us to be present, more present in what we're doing. And then Inner Child. Inner Child is an awesome, it kind of makes, it smells like lilacs a little bit to me. You apply it between your nose and your lip. And that's a VitaFlex point. I really didn't look into why that is, but it seems like an odd place to put it. But it says, I allow myself to connect with my inner child and regain my true essence back. So we all have that inner child in us that sometimes as adults we just forget, and that we can have that joy like a child. And then you go back to Valor, and you again put that on both your feet, and you say, I'm grounded and courageous in everything I do. I'm ready to transform my life. So it's just a beautiful layering of getting oils into your body and just experiencing them and just helping you through maybe some emotions that we all have gone through things in life that make sometimes life difficult to enjoy. And it's really helped me a lot. Now, I usually do the feelings kit at night. When I first started doing it, I did it in the morning and then I did it at night. And I was emotional wreck. I was totally a wreck. So I said to my own friend, I'm like, well, this is happening. And she goes, yeah, I wouldn't do it twice a day. So what I do is I do it at night and then I go to bed. And so then it's helping me through the night. You know what I mean? Like I'm going to bed with those nice thoughts and feelings, and then I'm sleeping and resting on it, and then I wake up, and then I do what Lori is going to talk about, the Great Day Protocol, which is a little bit less complicated. It's the feelings kit really gets deep into your feelings, and a lot of times you might want to journal along with that because it could bring up a lot of things. But the Great Day Protocol is just a great way to start your day, right, Lori?
100%. I love it. I try to start my day with this as much as possible. I have my little station set up on my table on the lanai where I have my Bible, and I like to be outside, and I have my 4 oils there. And it does not take long to do, and it's really worth the time, the minute or two that it takes to do it, because I've noticed that it really does improve my emotional state for the day. So I'm going to share here. These are the 4 oils that are in the Great Day Protocol, and this graphic shows where you put each one of them. So if you want to take a screenshot of that or a picture of that, if you want it, or I can send it to you afterwards too. And then I'm going to demonstrate this, but I'm going to move forward from this slide to this one that has the affirmations that you say with each oil, and also, if you prefer, then a scripture that you can use. And so we start with Valor. Just put a drop in my left hand and swirl it around. And then this one goes on your pulse points on your wrist. You can just hold your wrists together for a few seconds. And the affirmation is, I'm grounded, stable, and balanced. I'm full of courage and confidence. And the scripture is Deuteronomy 31:6. And also, honestly, what usually comes to my mind is the courage song. Usually I'll kind of say part of that song is I'm doing this. The next one is joy. Here's Ruth's favorite oil, joy. So put a drop in your hand. And then this one gets rubbed over your heart. And the affirmation is, I'm full of optimism. My heart is joyful. And the scripture is Nehemiah 8:10. The joy of Jehovah is my stronghold. And don't forget, like I did on the first one, to take those deep breaths, breathe all that beautiful scent in. The next oil is Harmony. And this goes on the solar plexus, which is, it's kind of like above your belly button, but below your sternum. So kind of just midline here. Can't see. And the affirmation is, I am in harmony with the flow of life. I have unconditional love for those around me. And the scripture is Colossians 3:13. Above all these things, I put on love. Well, love is a perfect bond of union. I really would like to change these. We got this from somebody else, but I would like them to be in the New World Translation scriptures. I have to work on that.
I actually wrote them all down, Lori, from the New World Translation. Yeah, I actually did.
For this one, I usually say I'm in harmony with myself and others. And the last oil is White Angelica, because you can kind of say what you want to say, what works for you. That's kind of the same idea with the thought of the oil. And so far, all the names of the oils have kind of told you, what they're for. valor for courage, joy for joy, harmony for harmony. White angelica is for positivity, for warding off negativity. So this one goes on the crown of your head. Swirl it around, put it on your head, and then basically just all over. Keep that negativity off of me. And you can say, I'm safe and protected. I interact with those around me appropriately. I take in all of the good and none of the bad. And the scripture is Ephesians 6:10 and 11. And if you notice, all of those affirmations are like present tense. I am. Because don't say I will be. We want to say I am, because we're saying positive thoughts. We're setting our intention for the day, and we listen to ourselves, and we don't want to say I am not, or I won't be, or I am, and set our intention for what we want to be for the day, and that helps. So whatever we say, just make sure it's an I am statement. And I know that days that I do this, I feel a noticeable difference on my day, and it's much easier to stay positive, to keep my frequency up.
Excellent. Thanks, Lori. That's a good point that you were saying about, saying I am, not I will. That's because those positive affirmations just, yeah. And when we do that over and over again, it can change those connections in our brain. If we have problems with that negative self-talk, it really can help us. And it's really important because to have that good mindset. So I hope everybody found this as interesting as me. And if anybody has any questions or comments or experiences, we would love to take a minute or two. I mean, it is almost 8. I appreciate everybody's coming and taking the time. So I don't want to go over, but does anybody want to share something? Ruth?
I remember you said something to me that caught my ear kind of. You said, I'm not sure, I don't remember, I had to write it down. Stop panic attacks like instantly. Have we ever noticed that? Or you said,
Yeah.
or anxiety, like sometimes you may not notice it instantly. Well, I think the oil is, I forgot the oil. It starts with a V. Yeah, I don't think it's Valley.
Vetiver?
That's it. I do believe it's that. And I have to tell you, I just haven't been feeling the greatest, here and there. And I thought that I needed to take another heart pill. Actually, I said, you know what, my heart is pounding. I said, let me just take it. And I tell you, Dylan said, try the vetiver. And so he put the vetiver on me, he put the lavender on me, and he actually stayed with me while, and I have to tell you, I really mean it. I felt it, and this was a while ago, but it just hit me when you said, do we ever feel it like instantly? And
Yeah.
I don't know if it was instantly, but it was fast. And like, I didn't need that other heart pill, because it calmed my heart down, and it calmed everything down with that vetiver and the lavender. I really noticed the difference.
Thank you. for
Almost instantly.
Yeah. Vetiver is one of my best friends. I love it. It's so earthy smelling and grounding, and it helps me with my racing thoughts, because I don't get the panic type thing, but I do have problems with sleeping at night with the racing thoughts. But since I'm using that every night, I don't, but Andy does. He has a bottle and he'll just smell it. Like he'll just have it and smell it, because he gets panic attacks. And it really does help. So
Yes.
thank you for sharing that. And that some people have that with certain things. Your body is vibrating, it needs this, and you're this vehicle that needs it, and then here you put an oil on, and there it is. It's giving your body, that compatibility from that, the vibration or the frequency of that oil. it's just, it's really great.
Danielle had asked a question the other day when we were talking about it. Is there a way to measure your frequency or to know what your frequency is?
I'm sure there is, but I really don't know.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I don't know. I mean, I know there's a machine that does that, but I would imagine that you could probably go to somebody that does that, maybe in that certain kind of doctors. But
Right.
yeah, I really don't know. I was wondering that myself. That would be kind of cool to see what you have people measure your fat, with this little thing. It'd be cool to be able to measure your frequency. It really would. And I'm sure there is a way. I just don't know. So if anybody finds out, let us know.
I guess I could ask Google. Yeah, great presentation, Denise. Thank you. It's such an interesting topic.
Thank you. Yeah. So our next class is May. May. Why did I say May? Because I want winter to be over, and May is a good month. Okay. So October 8th, we're going to talk about making jacked up elderberry and syrup and honey.
October 8th.
And I'm going to actually be making it and doing a class and making it and showing you. And it's going to, because I ran out of elderberry syrup. I need more. And so I have another sister she's not in my Young Living group. She lives in New Hampshire. And I did a kombucha class with her and taught how to make kombucha, and now we're doing elderberry. So, and if anybody has any classes that they want, we're always trying, Lori, like, what are we going to teach them? If anybody has any, just let one of us know, and we'd be glad to, because we like these, education classes. They help us all. So
Absolutely.
I wanted to mention a raffle.
Oh yeah. And I wanted to mention about the 5-day nutritive cleanse. Whoever wants to participate in that, that's coming up. We're going to do it as a team, October 11 to 15. So it's your Balance Complete, Nixia Red, and an enzyme, Essential Zyme 4. And your 3 snacks a day, half your body weight in water. It's real easy to do, and you feel so good as you're doing it. Help Denise and I, we both got off drinking coffee that way. After at least for me, after I cleansed a couple times, then I got off coffee.
It took me like my 4th time when I didn't have to drink any more coffee.
Yeah. So anyway, but you don't have to use it for that goal, but it's a really good way to give your digestive system a little break and to kind of reset your healthy eating is what I found very helpful for me personally. So, okay, let's get this.
And you don't have to think about what you're going to cook for the whole day. Yes.
That is the best. That is the best. Okay. Can you see this?
Okay.
All right. Okay.
Caitlin
won.
You won the raffle. Yeah, so I have a body room and pillow spray. I got a wellness roller, and I have a little roller of Gentle Baby, which is one of the really higher frequency oils. So.
Oh, wow. How exciting. Thank you.
You're welcome. I think you won one, like one of the first, I think it was the first time we had a class. I think you won, Caitlin.
Yeah. I remember that.
So it's coming around back to you.
That's great.
Oh, cool.
Congratulations, Caitlin.
Thank you.
You're welcome.